Evening. I have the time as 7:33. I will call the public hearing and regular business meeting of the Mayor and Council for the City of Snellville, Georgia, Monday, June 22nd, 2026 to order. We have a quorum. All members are present. We're going to start tonight with an invocation to be given by Councilmember Rochelle Brown.
Let us bow our heads. Gracious Father, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to beseech your throne, just giving you the glory and honor that you so richly deserve. Thank you for bringing us together this evening, not only to have a clear heart and mind, but Lord, to lead your people, to make decisions that will affect our community, that will affect us as we move forward in unity. I give you glory and honor and thank you for each person that is in this room, each person in leadership, and each community member, that we will operate in excellence, and we will be an example of what this city is going to be. I give you the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Rochelle. And now for those who are able, if you can please stand, we will have the pledge to be led by Chief Greg Perry. Thank you, Chief. We do have one item under ceremonial matters. We have a proclamation honoring someone very special, Proclamation 2026-12, honoring Day Keeby for his commitment to the Youth Council. Whereas Day Keeby has distinguished himself as an exceptional student leader, scholar, and servant of the community through his dedication to the city of Snellville and its youth. And whereas he has graduated from Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology as a member of the class of 2026, and he will continue his academic journey at the University of Georgia as a member of the class of 2030, where he plans to study applied mathematics and sociology. And he was awarded the Princeton Prize in Race Relations in recognition of his commitment to advancing understanding, respect, and positive relationships among diverse communities. And he has faithfully served as a member of the Snellville Youth Council from 2022 through 2026 and was elected by his peers to serve as youth mayor during the 2024 to 2026 program years. And after attending a Georgia Municipal Association Youth Symposium and learning about community building initiatives across the state, Day Keeby became the student project leader for the Snellville Youth Council's Juneteenth Unity Day celebration, helping to advance one of the council's signature community events. And through his leadership, integrity, academic excellence, and commitment to service, Day Keeby has left a lasting legacy on the Snellville Youth Council and has exemplified the qualities of an outstanding young leader. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Barbara Bender, the mayor of the city of Snellville, Georgia, where everybody is proud to be somebody, do hereby join with our entire city council and the citizens of Snellville to recognize and applaud Day Keeby for his commitment to the Snellville Youth Council. Proclaim this 22nd day of June, 2026. Day, if you could come join us. Now we'll move to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes for June 8th, 2026 meeting.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. We have no invited guests, but we do have a committee report from the Snellville Youth Council. I believe Esther. Our executive director.
Well, okay, is it on? Okay, good, this is great. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, and of course, the citizens of Snellville. Tonight, I am pleased to provide my final report as Youth Director of the Snellville Youth Council, highlighting our activities from February through June 2026. In February, members of the Snellville Youth Council traveled to the Georgia State Capitol, where they were recognized with a resolution honoring the organization and its contributions to youth leadership and civic engagement. The visit provided students with a first-hand look at state government and allowed them to better understand the legislative process and the importance of public service. In March, the Youth Council hosted our annual Money March program, and we were honored to have the United Community Bank, whose representative spoke to us and our students about budgeting, saving, investing, and preparing financially for their futures. Students also learned how taxpayer dollars are utilized at the local level and gained a greater appreciation for the role financial responsibility plays in achieving personal and professional goals. Throughout April, students shifted their focus toward planning the 3rd annual Juneteenth Unity Day celebration. Members worked collaboratively to develop event concepts, coordinate logistics, strengthen community partnerships, and established a shared vision for what would become our largest event of the year. Through this process, students gained valuable experience in project management, teamwork, and community engagement. In May, students met to finalize event plans and ensure every detail aligned with the vision they had created. Later that evening, we celebrated another successful year during our end-of-year banquet. We were honored to welcome Georgia Municipal Association's Freddie Broom as our guest speaker and recognize our graduating seniors for their dedication, leadership, and service to the Youth Council. In June, students conducted a final walkthrough of the Grove and completed preparations for the 3rd annual Juneteenth Unity Day celebration. We also participated in a team building activity that challenged students to construct spaghetti towers while navigating challenging circumstances and unexpected obstacles. During this event or this activity, I forced the students to make towers with marshmallows and spaghetti sticks. And in the middle, I took a couple students out the room and told them that they couldn't speak anymore or they couldn't touch the materials. And I kind of showed them that this is how sometimes in community, there's communication issues and you have to learn how to deal with them through adversity and having to navigate through different ways to speak to each other. And during the exercise encouraged students to persevere through adversity, consider different perspectives, and better understand how collaboration and decision-making influence leadership and government. On June 19th, their hard work and dedication culminated in another successful Juneteenth Unity Day event for our community. So, I think you can bring it closer. I'll let you hold it. So to my left is our unity tree that we created during our event. For the past 2 years, we've used a Unity Day quote, and the citizens of Snellville or surrounding cities, they come and they get a piece of a quote and they write whatever they want to write on it and we tie it together. This year we decided to have something a little bit different, and we have a unity tree. And it celebrates the idea that every person is unique, just like a fingerprint. Individually, each fingerprint tells a story, and together they create a strong and flourishing tree. Rooted in shared values and strengthened by diversity, this tree symbolizes unity, community, and the lasting legacy we build when we come together. Let me try everybody too. As we look ahead to the upcoming year, I am excited to share that as of today, 54 students have applied to join the Snellville Youth Council. This represents the largest applicant pool the organization has seen since 2016 and reflects the continued growth and impact of the program within our community. While our events are often the most visible part of what we do, the true purpose of the Youth Council is leadership development and civic engagement. Whether students were learning about state government at the Capitol, financial literacy during Money March, planning a large-scale community event, or overcoming challenges during team-building exercises, each experience was designed to prepare the next generation of leaders. As I conclude my service as youth director, I would like to thank the mayor, council, city staff, advisors, parents, and community partners for their continued support of our students in this program. Most importantly, I would like to thank the young people of Snellville Youth Council for their commitment to serving their community and representing our city with excellence. Former Councilwoman Christy Linsky envisioned the Snellville Youth Council as a world-class organization. Looking at the accomplishments of this year and the record number of students seeking to join our program, I believe we are well on our way to fulfilling that vision. Tonight might be the last time I stand before you as director of the Snellville Youth Council, but I'm certain it will not be the last time I stand at this podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Esther has come up through the Snellville Youth Council, first as a member, and then she returned back, and then came back as a advisor and then the director for this past year. So we appreciate everything that you've done for the program as well. Okay, now we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda?
There is a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll get Rochelle on that one. So we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. We have one item under public hearing. Item A, second reading, UDO 26-01. Consideration and action on a text amendment to the text of the Unified Development Ordinance for the City of Snellville, Georgia, the UDO, adopted 10/26/2020 and last amended 3/10/2025. The proposed amendment is to Chapter 100, Article 1, Introductory Provisions, Article 2, Definitions, Article 3, Administration, and to Chapter 200, Article 1, Rules for all zoning districts, Article 2, Residential Districts, Article 6, Use Provisions, and Article 7, Site Development. Is there a motion on this?
Madam Mayor, in order to give us all more time to be as comfortable as we can with this proposal, I make a motion that we table the second reading of UDO 26-01 and the public hearing to the July 13th meeting.
So there is a motion to table this second reading and public hearing to July 13th. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor with none opposed. These amendments are quite extensive, so we're just allowing ourselves a little more time to read through a few more of them and make sure we're fully understanding. We have nothing under the consent agenda, no old business, so we'll move to new business. We have excuse me, we have item A, second reading, ordinance 2026-04, an ordinance of the City of Snellville, Georgia to regulate the parking of vehicles, to provide for restrictions on overnight parking, to provide for the removal of vehicles that are parked overnight, to provide for regulations as to use of parking facilities, to provide for an effective date, and for other purposes. This ordinance is just allowing, we've had a few issues with parking in the Grove, and specifically the parking deck with abandoned vehicles, and we didn't have any kind of provision to allow us to take action on those. So this ordinance does give us some procedures in the law to be able to take care of these type situations. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2026-04.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? And there is a second. So we have a motion and a second on the table. Is there any discussion or comments by council members?
Yes. Could we have a clarification on what happens to the vehicles in the Tomlin homes?
A clarification
what- yeah.
for people who live in the Tomlin?
Correct.
Yes. Who can address that? Sure. You address that.
And Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Tomlin has authorized spaces, so they would not be enforcing in the authorized Tomlin spaces. It's also that if there's Tomlin residents that are parked outside of that, if they're registered to the Tomlin, then this would not be enforceable on them.
So my question is, are we going to enforce there are a limited amount of parking space that does not accommodate for every resident, so there needs to be some signage provided by the Tomlin so that they can identify residents versus regular public parking. Is that possible?
You're asking for as far as signage?
To enforce that the Tomlin provide their residents with signage, because you can't tell if, the parking lots are marked. However, there's not enough marked parking spaces for the amount of cars and residents that live there. So there would need to be something identifying on residents' cars or
Like
provided,
a sticker or something?
yes, that they are a Tomlin resident.
I think that's probably a discussion between the city and the Tomlin.
Okay, is that something that we can do?
Something we can certainly ask the
Can't really
Tomlin to do, but we
force them
can't
to
force
do
the
it.
Tomlin to do that.
So if we have it enforceable for these cars to be parked, and we have a limited amount of parking spaces, how can you tell the difference?
The car tags would be registered to the address at the
So you're talking about
Tomlin.
their license plates?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Any other comments or questions by council members?
I do want to say the one thing with this that was, or one of the things with this that was very important to me, is that this does allow for residents, community members, whoever is visiting the Grove who may have too much to drink while at the Grove. There is time for them to leave their cars overnight. They're not going to be towed. There is that safety that we're not having drunk drivers drive home. There is space for their car to stay overnight to come get picked up when they're able to drive their cars home safely.
Correct. And this ordinance does not prohibit overnight parking. It allows for, if vehicles left for more than 2 nights, then the vehicle would be, there would be a notification left on the vehicle. And then there'd be 5 days for any kind of action or communication with the city on that before any towing or anything else would happen. So it's not an immediate, you leave your car there at 6 o'clock in the morning, the car's going to be towed. So it's really more not to combat specific overnight parking, but long-term abandoned vehicles being left in the lot or in the spaces is the intention. Anyone else with comment or discussion? Okay, seeing none, we do have a motion and a second, so all in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. And we have item B, consideration and action on award a bid for the annual Christmas decoration services for the city of Snellville. Mr. Pepper, do you want to just kind of run through this real quick? Or I can give a little summary.
Sure, Madam Mayor. So this is just, the city went out for bid for our annual Christmas decorations that are around the city. If you've lived here a while, then you've seen some of our, what we call pole mounts. So on our power poles and light poles, you'll see different decorations. Around the downtown area, you'll see different trees that are wrapped with lights and things like that, and some other decor that folks can take pictures with. So this is a proposed contract that would be 3 years with a not-to-exceed amount of $100,000 between the lights and then some decor pieces that would be spread out throughout the city.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the consideration of action on the award bid for the annual Christmas decoration services, not to exceed $100,000.
There is a motion. Pardon? You need to specify to who,
Oh,
the company.
What's the company?
Grant
To
Lawn.
Grant Lawn Decor and, to Grant Lawn and Decor Services.
So we have a motion to approve the contract to Grant Law and Decor Services in the amount not to exceed $100,000. Is there a second?
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. Any comment or questions by council?
So one of the good things we say after this contract that was brought to our attention by fellow council persons, which was we're going to ask this is one of the things that we're asking the community, the citizens, to also keep us square when it comes to this. For instance, one of the things that was discussed on the public meeting is if you see lights out, if you see some type of tripping hazardous, if you see something that's a problem after we are spending this money on these lights, call in, let us know. We'll have an active place for you all to call in and to put that in by the time the season swing by this year. And again, as citizens, call in, let us know, allow us the opportunity to fix whatever's going on. So we're going to hold the company feet to the fire. We have had no issues in the past. It's just about allowing them the opportunity to come out and fix the things that we need them to fix with this contract. So definitely thank all the council persons, the mayor, the city manager for ensuring that it's one of the things that we're going to hold them accountable for, ensuring that our money is being spent in a way that really brings the cheer that we want our city to have.
Anyone else? Then I will call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. That takes care of the Christmas decor for this year. Next, we have item C, consideration and action on extension of the Red Speed contract. Just by way of explanation, the Red Speed are the cameras that operate in the school zones, where they will take a picture if you're speeding through the school zone during the school hours. The state legislature has made some changes to this law, and they're now requiring for any contracts being done after July 1st of this year that it has to be approved by the voters through referendum. The contract that we currently have with Red Speed is still good until next March. However, it would end in March, and we wouldn't be able to continue using the Red Speed cameras until after referendum was held. To avoid a referendum this November and requiring the city to go through a special election, we're opting to extend the Red Speed contract that we currently have from the March end date through November of 2027 when we have an election for city council members. So that way we can still keep the cameras in place until November 2027, then it'll go out to the voters to decide whether we keep them after that. So that's what we're doing with this contract extension, should it pass. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the extension of the Red Speed contract.
There is a motion to approve the extension. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion or debate by council?
I would like to just mention the discussion that we had to explain to the citizens that when you see the yellow flashing light, it is not synced with the actual camera. So if you do see the light flashing outside of the school hours, it is not taking your speed. The camera is not tracking that. So I wanted to make that clarification because we have seen the lights flashing on non-school days, and that had raised some confusion for citizens, and we want to just clear that up. So thank you, Mayor.
Very good. I will call the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. We'll be extending that contract through November 2027, whereupon that'll go on the ballot for that election for the voters to decide whether we keep the cameras in the future. Next, we have item D, consideration and action on update of the solid waste fee schedule. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the updated solid waste fee schedule.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second, and I should have explained, we did renew a contract with our trash provider. Under the new contract, they changed some of the commercial solid waste fees, and so we're just aligning our fee schedule to go with the current fees that are in the contract. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. Next, we have item E. We had one reappointment to a board that was overlooked when we did them all last meeting, and that is for the Board of Appeals, Post 1, Bobby Howard, with a term to expire June 30th, 2028. So this is my nomination. I'm asking for council's confirmation. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor, so none are opposed. Next, we'll move to council reports. That ends, because we've ended our regular business meeting. So we'll go to council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Kat Hardrick.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening and buenas tardes. Thank you so very much for coming this evening. I first would like to again congratulate Dave Keeby on his award and wishing him the best in the future. I also would like to say a great congratulations to Jackson Mays, who recited the MLK Jr. I Have a Dream speech during Snellville's Juneteenth celebration. I also would like to say a huge, great congratulations to the Ebony Society, who was led by President Pratt, who held his Juneteenth celebration at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds, and Chairwoman Nicole Love Hendrickson was there, and there was an 11-year-old, who sang the national anthem, and she was just completely phenomenal. And again, the family Gwinnett, they hosted their Juneteenth celebration at South Gwinnett High School, and they honored State Rep Dewey McClain, who is retiring from public service from over 30 years. I would like to also recognize one of our very own, Mr. Rodney Lumpkins, who received from the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, the Outstanding Georgia Citizens Proclamation. And that proclamation is to the outstanding citizen be afforded every courtesy as a goodwill ambassador from Georgia in his travels to other states, to nations beyond the borders of the United States of America, and wherever he may hereafter travel or reside. I just want you to know that this prestigious award is only given to a handful of people every year. And our very own Mr. Rodney Lumpkins in the audience right now. I'd like to give you a round of applause. And he is a part of the Snellville Youth Council, so thank you so very much for what you do, sir. I truly appreciate it. With that, I do just want to mention, citizens, I am aware, and my other council members are aware of the growing homelessness crises that we are experiencing in Snellville right now. And that conversation, I am definitely working with other cities to find out what that solution is for us. A citizen emailed me concerns about the homeless issue, and we know that we see individuals on our streets, and it is unfortunate, and it breaks my heart to see that. And please know that I know me for one, I'm approaching those individuals safely, asking them if they would like any assistance. And sometimes people refuse. And we can't help individuals if they're not ready to receive the help. And we understand that people may be self-medicated, may be experiencing mental health issues, but it truly still rests with them before we actually can give them assistance. So please know that we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we address this epidemic that's going across our nation. And so please bear with us. As we know that it may be an eyesore and it's hard to see and it breaks your heart to see individuals lying right there at the racetrack or any other place in the city of Snellville, but we are doing what we can to address this issue. The other issue is trash. There's a lot of trash being left in the city. There aren't receptacles in areas near the ice cream parlor, a marble slab, and people are throwing their trash on the ground. I'm asking citizens, if you see something, please, let's work together to keep our community beautiful. We need to have pride in where we live. Love where you live. Love your city. Let's pick up our trash. We have people who spend their time cleaning up in the areas. We all can do that. So please put your trash in the receptacle and keep our community beautiful. I want to thank Public Works because I went into the Tomlin parking structure and I took photos. There was furniture left in the parking lot. Furniture. We're better than this, Snellville. And it's going to take all of us to keep our community beautiful and safe for all of us to enjoy for years to come. All this work that the previous council has committed to building this community, we really need to make sure we keep it beautiful, or it will take a nosedive in the wrong direction, and it will take all of us. So if you see something, please pick up the phone, contact code enforcement so that we can then respond accordingly. And with that, I'll close my remarks, Mayor.
Thank you, Kat, and we'll go to Councilmember Rochelle Brown.
Good evening. My report is very simple this evening. It is Juneteenth Unity Day was one of the most successful events yet. This was the first year that we were able to offer scholarships to our students who are leaving. And I don't want to be their voice. I want to speak from them. They were asked the question is, what issue affecting young people today are you most passionate about and addressing it? Why? I'm going to read two responses. The issue affecting young people today that I'm most passionate about is the youth mental health crisis. Specifically, how it's amplified by economic barriers and the intense pressure to secure our futures. As high school students who are living through an era of unprecedented stress with a lesser amount of adults who truly care. We are told that our worth is tied to numbers like our GPA, our standardized tests, and the metrics in scholarship portals. For many students, this pressure is compounded by financial hardships, creating an environment where anxiety and burnout can thrive in the shadows. Through my own experiences navigating grueling college application processes and facing financial barriers to academic programs, I have felt the psychological toll of this system firsthand. It is incredibly easy for young people to internalize systematic limitations as personal failures, leading to a silent epidemic of mental exhaustion. Witnessing my peers quietly struggle with the same feelings that made me realize that mental well-being is a critical public health concern that our society often overlooks. The passion directly shapes my future aspirations as an aspiring neurosurgeon. My commitment to health extends far beyond the physical operating room. I believe that healing requires treating the whole person, which means bridging the gap between neurological science and mental health advocacy. I plan to use my education to advocate for better mental health resources, early intervention programs, and accessible counseling within the schools to underserved communities. By combining medical knowledge with empathy I have developed as a student leader, I want to dismantle the stigma surrounding mental health, No young person should have felt like nameless statistic or believe that their future is compromised just because of resources they cannot control. I'm driven to become a physician who will not only heal the physical body, but will also stand up for mental and emotional resilience for the next generation. The second one, the issue I am most passionate about is addressing financial literacy and economic exclusion among young people. Many students graduate from high school knowing how to solve complex equations and write research papers, but they're never taught how to build credit, manage debt, invest, budget, or prepare for long-term financial stability. As a result, many young adults enter adulthood without the knowledge necessary to make informed financial decisions. I am particularly concerned about how this issue contributes to a broader economic inequality. Access to financial knowledge is often unevenly distributed. Students whose families have experience with investing in entrepreneurship or wealth building frequently receive guidance at home, while others are left to learn through trial and error. This creates gaps that can persist for generations. My interest in this issue comes from my involvement in civic engagement and my observations in my own community. I have seen how economic challenges affect families' ability to access opportunities, which means housing, education, transportation, or business ownership. This challenge often less to do with talent and effort, but more to do with access to the information and resources. In the future, I hope to work on policies and programs that expand financial education and economic opportunity, particularly for the underserved communities throughout Metro Atlanta. I believe helping young people understand how to build financial security is one of the most effective ways to create long-term economic mobility. By equipping students with practical financial knowledge early in life, we can help them make informed decisions and avoid costly mistakes to build better futures for themselves and their families. That is just two of the responses that we got and the young people that we invested in the Snellville Youth Council. So I will always stand behind them. I will always support them and guide them and be there for their future. That is my comment. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Rochelle. And now we'll go to Councilmember C.J. Pitt.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here as always. Quickly, for parents, there are 3 new schools in the area that's coming here this summer. I'm not suggesting you go to any one, but I think it's always good for parents to know the education benefits we have here in Snellville. So we have the Christian Pinnacle School coming in August. We have Melroy Meilora School Academy is also opened up in July. Their grand opening in July. And then we have Lawrenceville School of Music also doing a grand opening in July. So those 3 new options that's coming here to Snellville. Of course, I'm going to always make sure everyone know to be a comment first. But if, those options are also out there. Father's Day was an awesome Sunday. I always tell people when Father's Day come around, it's always one commercial that tells you to buy ties, tools, or T-shirts. I got all 3 of those things this Sunday. So nothing's changed. I appreciate my kids watching those commercials. They went and got their father some ties, T-shirts, and tools, and I'm going to use all of them. So, third thing, Juneteenth celebration, Unity Day, that the SYC put on. It was a fabulous event. I don't know how much more to say about that. It was something that if you came and you saw, if you witnessed, or if you go online, I always tell people, if you go on TikTok or Instagram, just type in Snellville, and anything that came out about Snellville on Instagram, TikTok, it'll come up and it shows you what people think about our city. I'm going to always be positive about our city. There's always things going on in our city. I understand that. We don't need too many people to point out the negative because it always shows. We need more people to point out the positive. A lot of times, for instance, in policing, we see the negative things and no one thinks to go back to thank someone for solving something. Our police force is always on it. Our chief is on it. He keeps us updated. It's a lot of information that you all don't see. We know the news is about having chaos and bombastics to draw you in, right? They never go back and tell you when a problem is fixed or resolution has occurred. Our police force is always looking for those resolutions. They're already out here, always out here trying to solve crimes. And I'm pointing them out today because of the update we received for an incident that happened a few months ago. And we come back and we found out that our police force here is working with other cities throughout Georgia to find out who committed a criminal act here in our city. No matter where they're going, our police force has shown that we're going to follow them. I'm really serious about our understanding that as a society, as a community here in Snellville, we have to be the family that we're setting out to be. We're going to sink or swim together. Regardless how people brand us outside of Snellville, I know inside Snellville, since I live here, how wonderful place it is. It's not a cliche. It's not a catch to what you're saying. I really do believe that. I know the mayor, the police chief, everyone in the audience believe that. And most of the time, we're just fighting to keep that going. So Father's Day is a good day to start. So how about that? It was awesome for me. The last thing, Mr. Day, last month we also, about a month and a half ago, we also recognized through proclamation Chef Hank, another man who's been in the city for well over 20, 30 years. Most of the council here definitely knew him way before me. It is a beautiful thing to be a transplant to a city and see, and I'm going to be a little biased when I say this, to see so many men in position doing what they're supposed to do, whether they're 17 in high school or starting off as 14-year-olds in the SYC program, or if there's someone like Chef Hank who's been around for 20, 30 years feeding thousands of people here in Snellville, or as we know, someone like Mr. Rodney Lumpkin, who's a transplant like me. We moved here and he never shied away from finding out what he can do in the community to make things better for everyone involved. And that's one of the main things that I love about Snellville. We think about everyone. It's not a singular person here that we want to leave out. Everyone. That's why the mayor always say where everyone is proud. The last on my list, so Mr. Day, it is, I know he left for the day, to his friends and family that's still here. You tell that young man to stay awesome and don't relinquish. Sir, stay awesome. I see you back there, and don't relinquish. Miss Esther, stay awesome, don't relinquish. That's all I can say to you all. It was a pleasure to be a part of what you all put on Friday. Councilwoman, I apologize, Brown, Councilman Carter, who's also linked in with that. It was a wonderful time to be a part of what you all put on with these young people on Friday. And then the last thing with that, Mr. Rodney, schools, Ms. Hodrick already addressed homelessness. That was on my list in trash. I hope everyone have a beautiful day. Until the next time I get to see you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, CJ, and we'll go to Councilmember Carrie Hetherington.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I know Day and his family have already left. I want to congratulate Day. He is an outstanding young man. I believe that was his mother here with him. Extend my congratulations to them as well. They have raised a fine young man, and it's not easy to do in this, in the world that we live in, to raise a young man like that. Esther, congratulations to you as well. You have served this community. I've watched you for many years when you were just a student in SYC and serving that way, coming up and serving as a volunteer, serving as the director, and now working full-time with the city. You are a gem of the city. We are so fortunate to have you locked in and stuck here with us now. Lastly, several of us are getting ready to go to Savannah this weekend for our annual Georgia Municipal Association training. It's one of my favorite times of the year to get to connect with other elected officials from the state, all over the state, find out what they're doing in their cities, what's working, what's not working. I always come back from these events so encouraged at the cohesiveness of our council, how we work together, how we support one another. There's a lot of cities that don't have that. And it's very encouraging to know what we're coming back to. So we're looking forward to learning a lot about what we can continue to do to serve you all. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you, Carrie, and we'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Carter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to go through a few things. I'll try to talk fast. Number one, homeless issue. Gwinnett County is establishing a task force to address the homeless issue. They have put out a request on social media that those who are interested in joining that task force to help resolve this issue, you can go to gwinnettcounty.com, get the information on that task force. They are accepting volunteers. Homelessness is not just an issue here in Gwinnett County and Snellville. I'll get into that. We have 34,000 34,000 military veterans that are homeless in the state of Georgia. 34,000. Last week, I went to a Veterans to Veterans town hall meeting in Rockmart, Georgia. Learned a lot. I have some printed material that I do have that I've given out to some folks. I will be getting more from the local VA, but some things I'd just like to point out that I think are important. I mentioned 34,000 veterans are homeless in Georgia. HUD has programs for homeless veterans. One of the things that came out of this conference was there's so many benefits to military veterans that they just don't take advantage of partly because they don't know. So I'm going to do what I can to at least bring to Snellville some printed material that I've given out to some folks so that you will have an idea of what goes on in the state as far as benefits to our military veterans. Also, there is the Major Richard Starr Act. And if you're a veteran or a veteran's family, I suggest that you contact your legislator, your federal legislator about that. This affects 59,000 combat veterans. And there's a movement in Congress to restrict lots of health benefits and mental health benefits to veterans. Example, if you're getting a medication now for PTSD, stress disorder, or something like that, there is a movement now that if you're getting medication for it and the medication makes you feel better, they want to take you off of that veteran benefit. Crazy stuff like that, especially at a time when we're sending soldiers into what I perceive as needless wars. It's horrific that we're cutting the benefits back. Let me move on from there. We had a concern about streetlight outage. I promised you last week that I was going to get information on that. Funny thing, before I came on council, right here in this building, I heard the same things I heard from Walton EMC. So I'm going to repeat them today, and I hope you take notes. First of all, Walton EMC does not have a person who drives around at night checking lights. They depend on citizen input. If you know of a traffic light or you see a traffic light, website waltonemc.com, click on contact at the top of the menu, fill in the location of the overhead light outage. It helps if you tie a cloth around that pole so that that helps the people identify the pole. But that's not mandatory. These emails, that if you send that email to them, they're read every morning and they're dispatched to a contractor. Let me correct something that was bad information last week. As the lights go out, they are replaced with new LED lights. It's not a problem of fixing the fixtures that are there. They're being replaced with new lights. And so you have to report those. And most citizens confuse street lights with security lights, totally different thing. Now, if after making your notification, you have not received a resolution in 2 weeks, please send me an email with the location and the date and time you sent that email, and I'll do my research on that. Last week, it was stated that City Council is unresponsive to citizens' concerns. That's false. What sometimes happens is citizens who do not receive the response they want or their expressed concern is beyond, it may be beyond the jurisdiction of this council. Let me give you an example. Lots of complaints made about the bushes around the post office. Lots of complaints. We get that year after year after year. That's federal property. That's under federal concern. And what has happened in this city is that we've had people like Dave Emanuel and Todd Warner, at their own expense and on their own time, going out there and cutting those bushes just to keep them down and just to keep the complaints down. It was not their responsibility. When it comes to the post office, you need to contact your federal legislator. If they're not reacting and getting that done, it's not the city's responsibility, it is federal property. That's about all I have today. So thank you very much. Hope you all have a good week.
Thank you, Norman. And I would like to commend the Snellville Youth Council, Councilmember Rochelle Brown, Esther, and the whole group, Abdul, Rodney, all the advisory board. I mean, what an outstanding event Friday night. I got there right around 4 o'clock, and I was really surprised at how many people were already there at 4 o'clock. I think the crowd was probably 2 to 3 times more than what it was last year. It was just a fabulous event. I went and visited with a lot of the vendors. Everybody was so excited to be there, very appreciative of the organization and the help that the youth gave in helping them set their tents up and get their booths all ready. And just in talking with people that were there at the event, I mean, just so many happy faces. So kudos to you. What a great event. I think the program was outstanding. Abdul, your comments, your speech was spot on. I loved it. I mean, really just a first-class event, so congratulations. Just a couple of announcements for upcoming events. We have July 4th is right around the corner. Snellville will host its Star Spangled Snellville again. It is on the 4th that we celebrate, and the day runs from 4 to 10 p.m. And just remember, if you're coming out, come early. It gets very crowded, especially as you get closer to firework time, and just ask that you're patient as you try to leave. I think our police department does a great job with getting people out of the city quickly after the fireworks are over. And also, if everyone can be very mindful to pack up whatever you brought with you and carry out. For some reason, this event is one of course, it's the biggest event with people coming into the city, but it's also one of the worst events for people leaving behind trash. So we just ask that all citizens and visitors to the city that you take the time to pick up around you before you leave. Then the next event will be July the 18th, the Live on the Lawn concert series with a Rod Stewart tribute band. And I believe there may be some other things coming up in the Grove too that's listed on the website or on the Grove Facebook page. Please stay tuned for that. That will end my mayor's report. I will open the floor to public comment, and just a note as well that we will not be adjourning this meeting. We do have an executive session to go back for, so we'll have that executive session. We don't expect any voting action to come out of that session, but we'll adjourn the actual meeting after that executive session. So I will open the floor to public comment. We do have one person who signed up, so I'll call on that person first. You do not have to have signed up in order to come speak. So please, 5 minutes on one topic, or I should state it, less than 5 minutes on one topic. The sign up was Curtis Hairston, if Mr. Hairston's here. And please provide your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Curtis Hairston. Actually, my last address was 5575 Fair Road, Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County, DeKalb County, but Fulton County. But my concerns is homelessness and the bus route, because sitting here, right, the last bus leaves out. I might have already missed the bus, but I'm sitting here listening to y'all speak, okay? I'm not a stranger to the city council. Now, if I'm speaking here, but the last bus runs at, I might have to walk home. And that's my issue, or our issue. Now, I'm speaking to y'all. I'm waiting to speak with y'all. Y'all taking 5 minutes apiece. Now, if I miss the bus, I've already missed the bus. So I stay all the way out tonight or by the next McDonald's way up here, or Burger King. That's 3 miles away. Now, y'all bus system stops running at most of the time 7 or 8 o'clock. I waited on the bus to get here 2 hours to get here, and it's supposed to got that 5. Something's not right. Something's really not right. And I know what that right. I know what that wrong is. Now, what I'm saying is, there's no shelter here. I called, I texted all y'all city council and the mayor. I text you, concerned citizen, right? Okay, so now if I come here, I came here in the daytime last week, right? Looked for no shelter, so then if you have no shelter, you say you gave me a place to go to a church. I called both churches, nobody answered. Called twice, nobody answered. Call again. But then, if it was a shelter, then nobody would be on the street. You got people walking up and down your street, people that out here living in from store to store, but then police harass because you got a person walking up and down the street. But if it was a shelter, the person would be at the shelter. So you understand the contrast in that. So now it looks like the police are harassing homeless people. See, now, case in point, now I'm 56 years old. I'm not a youth. I got nieces, nephews, sons, and daughters, right? Now, when I leave here, I gotta walk. If your bus is stopped running, I gotta walk home. And it's 8 o'clock. But we say, oh, be nice, don't say nothing to make somebody upset. You might hurt somebody's feelings. But my feelings hurt. Now, I gotta walk home. But y'all driving, right? Y'all going home. Who gonna give me a ride? Anybody gonna give me a ride home? But I'm speaking to y'all. See, now, all we is, because I know some people that feel just like I do. Now, I don't like to use race, this, race, that, or slang words, or none of those words. But I don't see nobody but black folk homeless in Snellville. I haven't seen nobody. I ain't looking for it. I ain't trying to encourage nobody else to be homeless. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this, that there's no other contrast of people that are homeless but African Americans. Now, you say, let me give you a rundown of my history, quickly, in 1 minute. You're talking about Juneteenth. I marched for Juneteenth. Juneteenth was not free. The people I went to school with, we went to city councils all over America. We went to the government, we went to the mayors all over America to get that passed. But you wouldn't know that to look at me, so I'm not blaming you for that. I'm saying you never judge a book by the cover, because you don't know what I represent. One thing I don't want to see, because I'm a man of God, is a riot. That's one thing I pray against, and I hope never happens again. But the voice of a riot is when people have already tried every other way. To let you know I know what I'm talking about. When people have already tried every other way to get things done, then they riot. So rioting is not nothing that I advocate for, and I never will. But people are upset here and there and here and there. I ain't gonna put Snellville on the map of just being. I don't point people out like that or cities out. But it's a cultural thing. It's something that we have to understand, that people eyes are opening. So like I said, I'm hurry up so I can get back to the bus. I gotta run to the bus now in your city. Have a good night.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, then I will read the executive session. The call. During the public hearing of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Bender announced that certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and asked council to advise the city with respect to closing the meeting. City Attorney John Crowley advised the city of the following reasons to close the meeting: to discuss pending and/or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions, which is exempt from the Open Meetings Act pursuant to OCGA Section 50-14-21. Upon a motion of council member and seconded by council member, the meeting was closed with the following council members and mayor present and voting. Mayor Barbara Bender, yes. Mayor Pro Tem Norman Carter. Council members Carrie Hetherington.
Yes.
Rochelle Brown. Catherine Hardrick. CJ Pitt. Okay, we will be adjourning to our conference room for the executive session. We will come back here in this room to adjourn the official meeting. As I stated, we do not anticipate any action to come out of the executive session. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Okay, the time is 8:48. We're back in the regular session, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There is a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third. Second. Rochelle. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? That is 6-0. We are done. Thank you all.